Hey, how's it going, everybody? I wanted to start a new series where I went back and looked at prominent figures on the right and how they behaved after significant events in the country so that we can start to figure out how their propaganda campaign works. So one of the ways that we have to look at propaganda is a lot of times the beginning will start with some honesty of whatever they're going to generate or say. The beginning will start with honesty mixed with some projection. And then they get into the process, which is to normalize whatever it is that's extreme, to otherize and racialize. So them, those guys, the Dems, the Libs, the BLM, start making it about race. That's the otherize and racialize. Then victimize, which is those people are making us the victim, or his viewers. So you viewers are the victim. And then they use their propaganda and their projection to radicalize their viewers. They do this by also saying the only sources you can trust are me. Sources that are saying what I say are trustworthy, all other sources are fake. So let's go through this and see if we can pick out some of that and see how he creates a narrative for what we now know happened. So we're going to start today with Tim Pool. So let's see what's up with Tim Pool.
Ladies and gentlemen, massive breaking news. Reports that the Capitol Rotunda has been tear-gassed as Trump supporters have breached the building and are making their ways to the main chamber. Chuck Grassley and Mike Pence have been ushered out to a secure location. The joint session has been recessed. Evacuations are underway. Cue Ron Paul, it's happening meme. I didn't think it. I mean, I thought Trump supporters would show up, but I was wrong. I didn't think this would happen. It started when news reports came that Trump supporters breached.
He didn't think it. My first reaction was, oh my God, what the hell? Why don't they stop it? His first reaction was, I didn't think it. That's kind of strange to not be appalled or repelled by this. Almost like excited. Yes, it's playing a little bit fast, but almost excited about what's going on instead of rejected.
4 layers of outside security. Many didn't know if they were going to continue on and make their way into the building. We then saw video emerge of Trump supporters bashing out the windows of the Capitol building. They've made their way in. Some men have fire extinguishers and are dispersing them, creating smoke screens so the police can't see. They're making their way in. Several people on the left and even some Republicans are calling this a coup attempt. Donald Trump tweeted out that Mike Pence didn't have the courage, something to that effect. I'll go through these tweets, but many people are saying Trump is not disavowing this. Mike Pence issued a statement saying he will not.
Many people are saying, well, if he didn't disavow it, did he disavow it? This is where he's clouding the air. We'll say. We know he's not disavowing it. Not people are saying he. Oh my God, look at that. He's not just saying people are saying he didn't disavow it. He didn't disavow it, and people are calling it an insurrection. In fact, George Bush called it an insurrection.
Return fraudulent electors because he doesn't have the power, thus saying he will not be supporting the president in his effort. We were in the midst of hearing from senators and members of Congress about their objections and their oppositions to the objection. When they announced that the Trump supporters breached the building, here's a tweet from Matt Fuller. They've just dispersed tear gas in the rotunda and are telling members to put on gas.
It's the second time he said tear gas in the rotunda.
Masks under their seats, my friends. Over the past couple of hours, I've been looking at the story and trying to compile what's been happening. They gave out bags with gas masks to members of Congress. This is the escalation. Where we go from here, I have no idea. It could be that Trump supporters take the Capitol building, they shut down the Electoral College vote, and we enter a constitutional crisis. It could be that, okay, I gotta slow down. The National Guard is...
He's like excited. Am I getting this wrong? But he seems excited, like he's totally on board for what's going on. Like, if the Trump supporters succeed, then like, cool, we'll just have a dictatorship.
Being requested. They're in D.C. They may shut this down, but there is not enough law enforcement or National Guard to deal with the tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of thousands of people who are there.
How's he know that?
We've seen photos and videos that appears to be mid to high 10,000s, maybe 50 to 90,000 or so. I'm not entirely sure. Some have reported over 100,000. Of those people, many of them will not fight. There's a lot of older men and women who are probably not going to be involved, and a lot of people who didn't come there expecting to get into a clash to take the Capitol. But if several thousand remain, and they're not going to back down, it's going to be very difficult to regain control. This could result in...
He is rooting for this, right? Like, I'm not reading this wrong. This guy's like rooting for the insurrection. He's not appalled at any way, shape, or form. He's actually discussing how they can complete the mission, as it seems. Almost like he's directing the mission. Like, he's saying, if these people take the Capitol, if they're hearing me and they take the Capitol, then maybe we'll just take the Capitol. I mean, maybe I'm hearing this wrong, but that's how I'm hearing it.
In a violent clampdown of military authority or martial law, something to that effect, which result in a harder lockdown nationwide. Or it could result in Trump supporters somehow taking power and Donald Trump remaining president. I'm not confident in that. I believe that's slim to none. I still believe, after all of this, Biden will be president. I believe the most likely outcome to everything I'm telling you right now is that Biden will be emboldened to clamp down, lockdown, and enforce martial law. From this, we may actually get legit insurrection.
So, Biden, who's not president, is going to implement lockdowns and enact martial law. Now, I told you projection. It sounds like he knows what the plan is. It sounds like he knows the plan is for this attack to happen and then announce the Insurrection Act by the current president, who's Trump, then use that for martial law, lock everybody down, and stay in the presidency. This is where they do the projection and all the propagandizing. He's telling you this attack is going to lead to Biden being an oppressor. He's trying to obfuscate and otherize, because of this attack, somebody else is going to do something to us.
Act. You've got Jake Tapper saying, this is being incited by Trump and it's stochastic terrorism. You've got Democrats saying this is insurrection, it's rebellion. And you've got a Republican saying it's a coup attempt. Perfect grounds to invoke the Insurrection Act. The only issue, Donald Trump is currently the president. Let's not waste any time. I want to show you what's going on.
Am I missing something? He just went through what could happen and then admitted it couldn't happen. Almost like he was trying to advise Trump on what to do. Like, this could be the case, but it can't be the case, but I guess Trump's president.
As per usual, before we get started, head over to timcast.com/donate if you'd like to support my work. There are many ways you can give. Please consider sharing this video around 8 p.m., going over the latest videos and developments on what is happening right now. But my friends, please let everyone know. Trump supporters have breached the U.S. Capitol building. The rotunda has been tear-gassed, according to several...
Please let everyone know. The rotunda has been tear-gassed. That's the third time he's mentioned it.
Reports, there are videos coming from inside the Capitol. I didn't think it. I am shocked, to say the least. So I have this tweet. Adam Kinzinger, a Republican from Illinois, says this is a coup attempt. What main critics are saying about this is that because Donald Trump has not called on his supporters to stop, in fact, he called for them to be here, they are saying that is stochastic terrorism. What that means is that Trump knew, that they're implying, Trump knew that by calling for his supporters to go to D.C., they would do this. And that would shut down the joint session. The joint session of Congress was supposed to count the votes to certify Joe Biden as the winner. There were calls to suspend this while court cases are currently pending. With the latest security breach, Pence, who is presiding as president of the Senate, has been ushered out, removed. The session has been put in recess, and Chuck Grassley, who would preside in his stead, has also been removed and brought to a secure location. The session has been brought to recess. It is not happening. I don't know when something like this has happened before, but I don't know where we go from here, other than we have a constitutional crisis.
Notice he has yet to condemn any of this violence or this attack. He sounds excited. Sounds like there's a possible chance Trump could remain president, but he hasn't condemned it at all. And he's like giving updates. Like, Pence has been removed, Grassley's in charge, here's where you'll find them. Like, it's just really strange to me that this is how you would respond. I guarantee if we went back and looked at BLM protests, this isn't how he responded.
Could be resolved tonight. For all we know, the National Guard comes in, clears everything out, Congress comes back, certify Joe Biden's win. Or maybe these Trump supporters don't leave. In fact, with what's going on, I can only imagine more Trump supporters will be flocking full speed to D.C. This is it, and it's true for Antifa as well.
What? Did he just call for people to go there? So it sounds like he's rooting it on. He hasn't denounced it. He sounds excited, and Sounded like he was giving advice to the president, and now he sounds like he's calling for reinforcements. Now, we already know from court documents that there was a stash of weapons in a hotel in Virginia just outside of DC. Plus, the guy with the truck and the Molotov cocktail had like 2 rifles, a handgun, and a bunch of machetes. It almost sounds like he's trying to call in reinforcements. I'm not saying he is. I'm not accusing him of that. I'm saying people are saying that, and it sounds like it.
Well, many people don't believe that there will be the political willpower. Like I said over and over again, I did not think the Trump supporters would do anything like this. I thought it would be flag waving and cheering and calls for another chance in the next...
He called this political willpower.
...election. I said previously, just earlier today, I thought that it was going to be, 2022, the Republicans come back and we get a rebound in the House. This is different. People who are seeing this, and this is my fear, people who are witnessing that Trump supporters have made the moves have probably already gotten in their cars and are driving full speed towards D.C.
I'm not making this up, right? Like, he's not saying don't. He hasn't said don't get in your cars. Don't head there. Get out of there. This is now the second time he said, I think people are going to be coming to D.C.
Trump supporters and Antifa alike. From WRC-BTV, protesters at U.S. Capitol forced both the Senate and the House to recess during certification of the Electoral College votes. More than a dozen Senate Republicans and over 100 GOP House members plan to oppose the certification. We have this from The Hill. Capitol placed on lockdown. Buildings evacuated amid protests. Reports are coming in that objects appearing to be pipe bombs have been found. Now, the all clear has been reported by several people, but this is a developing story, so please stay safe. They are ordering shelter in place. Let's start going through some of these tweets. We're just going to go through them. Jake Tapper tweeted, House GOP staffer tells me private residences on Capitol Hill are now being evacuated by Capitol Police. This as of 1:46 p.m. Private residence in the Capitol being evacuated. Jake Gibson tweets, multiple suspicious packages have been found near the Capitol grounds. According to multiple law enforcement officials, at least one of these devices resembled a pipe bomb. According to an official who saw the device, it is not clear yet if these are actually explosive devices. Lauren Pakoff, who is a MSNBC executive producer, tweets, just in from Pete Williams, a member of the U.S. Senate tells NBC News, Vice President Pence and Senator Grassley, the President pro temp, have been taken to a secure location. The doors of the Senate have been closed and locked, and senators have been told to stay away from the doors. Take a look at this video. I now bring you Trump supporters on the balcony breaching the Capitol grounds. And this is just the beginning. This is more. This is a video coming from, it appears to be
At least he's admitting they're Trump supporters.
MSNBC. Jackie Heinrich, who is a Fox News national correspondent, tweets, shelter in place now at Longworth, Rayburn buildings due to police activity, per message sent by the U.S. Capitol Police. Protesters have torn down a barrier. Fireworks are going off outside the Capitol. People in a tower telling the crowd to press forward, move forward, and we can beat them. Throwing things at police, crowd pushing up, chanting, USA, this is unreal. This tweet from Andrew Egger of the Dispatch. There have been reports that tear gas has been deployed outside the grounds, my friends. There have been reports that they have tear gassed inside the rotunda. This is historical. This is absolutely insane. Jessica Valenti, a noted feminist writer, says, never thought I'd see an attempted coup attempt, but here we are. Jasmine Ulloa, she is a writer for the Boston Globe, shows this video where you can see Trump supporters have breached the Capitol. There they are, walking in the building. And there's more. Take a look at this photo from the Washingtonian. What you are seeing is people using...
I wonder if he's going to denounce it at all. I mean, people... At least he's reporting the news and not making it up. Some of the other people that we'll look at in this series are just making up what's going on. They deny it's Trump supporters. They say it's peaceful. They say it's Antifa. Like, at least he's like reporting on it, but you can see the spin. There's no disgust. He's excited. He's not telling them to go home. In fact, he's basically invited more people to come.
Using barricades as ladders to then scale the walls outside the Capitol to get onto the Capitol grounds. I kid you not, Trump supporters are scaling a wall to breach the Capitol grounds. We have this tweet here from David Hines. He says, here's something even crazier. The odds are almost 100% that they are doing this without jail support or a bail fund. And he's tweeting in response to Elijah Schaefer. We had Elijah on the show just the other day. He says, breaking, Trump supporters have breached the Capitol building, tearing down 4 layers of security fencing and are attempting to occupy the building. So since then, we have seen them actually make it inside the building. For those that aren't familiar, The leftists and Antifa are typically emboldened by the fact that they have groups like the National Lawyers Guild and the ACLU who have prepared defense for them. And when they get arrested, they get bail and legal support. Numerous organizations.
Listen to this. These people that are attacking are the victims because there's not a bail support for them. There's a whole setup to help Antifa fight against you. But like these people don't even have that bail support and help. So they're even like this is even more dangerous for the Trump supporters because they're doing this without support. What? What kind of take is that? You haven't denounced this and you're like, these are the sufferers. So this is that propaganda. This is how they become radicalized. They're victimizing the attackers while making the BLM and Antifa the oppressors. In the middle of an attack, you can see what's going on while he's saying these things.
Collect donations to bail people out. These Trump supporters that are here doing this, they have, I doubt they have any organizational understanding of what's to come.
Oh, I doubt they have any organizational understanding, except for there's conspiracy charges against groups of 3%ers, conspiracy charges against Oath Keepers, and conspiracy charges against Proud Boys. So, like, those people knew exactly what the hell they were doing. A lot of the other ones, yeah, they may have gotten swept up inside Trump inciting them, and then this coordinated effort to break into the building and to use their fervor against the government. But, like, I don't understand the side you're coming from in any way, shape, or form.
There is something interesting in all of this, though. This is federal grounds. These people are storming a federal building. Any and all charges will be federal. And that means Donald Trump does have pardon power. Now, I don't know if that plays a role in this, but just something to consider. Trump would need their names and be able to in order to issue these pardons in the next couple of weeks. It's hard to know who these people are and what their names are. They're wearing masks. And the investigations into these individuals, because you can't see their faces, they are not prepared or organized the way Antifa is. It is likely that in the coming months, they will start arresting people involved in organizing, people involved.
He's lobbying for pardons for these people in the middle of the attack. He's not denouncing it. He's saying what it would take to get them pardons. People are saying, Tim Pool, people are saying you might be in on this. Tim Pool, people are saying you might be in on this. And when they start getting worried about censorship and getting cracked down on, and like you can't blame people for speech, they're just worried about themselves. But like this guy seems to be part of the plan. I don't know that he is. I can't say that he is. But if I wasn't part of the plan, which I'm not, I would condemn it and make it like gross. I wouldn't be rooting for them to get pardons. But these guys are always against crime. They denounce crime wherever it happens. But like maybe these guys could get pardons. Timmy, you're giving up the game here, Timmy.
In supporting this, and it's going to get absolutely crazy. Jake Tapper says stochastic terrorism. Trump, his Hill allies, and MAGA media lie about the election, and violence follows. I mentioned this earlier, but now I bring it up because I want to point out it doesn't matter. It doesn't. Whether or not Jake Tapper says good or bad, yes or no, right or wrong, is irrelevant. Trump supporters don't believe him. They don't believe the media. And my friends, I warned years ago that the street battles we saw on the ground would make their way to the highest levels of government. And I was here. Not just with the president, but with his supporters breaching the grounds. When Jake Tapper says that this is stochastic terrorism, that Trump is lying and the violence follows, it's meaningless to a Trump supporter. The truth is, the media lies. You have fringe right-wing outlets that write fake news. You have diehard Trump supporters who are conspiracy theorists and believe incorrect things. I believe the overwhelming majority of Trump supporters, probably the ones who aren't storming the building, understand what's going on with media lies and the corruption of our institutions. But not enough. They don't believe enough crazy stuff to actually storm a building. Perhaps this was Lin Wood's real intent. Lin Wood has been tweeting, he's a Trump lawyer, and he's been tweeting very crazy things for some time, and I've heavily criticized him. But he's not been ratioed. Ratioing is when you get more replies than retweets, meaning most people have something to say and don't consider sharing what you've written. Lin Wood has called for the arrest of Mike Pence, calling him a traitor, treason, saying Chief Justice Roberts should be arrested as well. These are unhinged tweets. But when he starts tweeting things, making these accusations...
Is there anybody that understands what he's talking about right now? Like, I don't really understand what he's doing. There's like a riot going on, and he's talking about, like, I told you this would happen, I didn't think it would happen, but like I told you it would happen. And maybe it's Lynn Wood's fault and other right-wing conspiracy people. But like people that listen to me aren't home storming the Capitol. Oh, that was a CYA. So this is like, I didn't do this. Like the people that listen to me aren't the people that listen to Lynn Wood. The people that listen to Lynn Wood are storming the Capitol. The people that listen to me are just like regular people at home who need to know the truth about media lies and how the election was really stolen.
The more diehard zealous of Trump's base are enraged. And Lynn Wood is not directly calling for anything. And I wouldn't imply that. I think you have to be explicit in your calls for violence. But saying that the president or the vice president should be arrested on charges of treason. Do you know what the penalty for treason is? I believe it's death. So these are very bold statements. Now you're going to see the most ardent of Trump supporters, not the average Trump supporter, storming into the building, and more violence. Currently...
So when one person burns a trash can on the left, that's all of BLM and all of the left. But when there's 100,000 people storming the Capitol, it's not all Trump supporters. And it's like, it's not fair to lump them all together, but like the left always does that. So he otherizes the left, and then he victimizes the right. They're going to start blaming all Trump supporters. They, the left, the bad guys, the left, the evil guys who these people are attacking are going to start demonizing you. This is radicalization. To make the Trump supporters at home the victims in this situation and to try to say he has nothing to do with any of this. And it's just these crazy people that listen to Lynn Wood. But the left lies and Lynn Wood lies. You have to listen to me. I am the only source of real information. And my people are at home, not storming the Capitol.
Many prominent conservatives are saying, stop, don't do this. This is not how we handle this. Steve Scalise, for
But I'm not one of those prominent conservatives that's going to say stop.
instance, Dana Lash, many other prominent conservatives are saying it's a big mistake. They're doing it anyway. I believe these people will find themselves in prison. We have more I want to show you. Anna Timmer tweets, they just put up a cross in front of the Capitol building. In this video, you can see that several men have...
Now, one of the things that I talk about in what led up to January 6th is the religious radicalization. And I have another video I'm working on, but there is a war inside of Christianity between traditional churches and the New Age church where the preacher is a prophet, where all of the people that run the church, the person that runs that specific church is a prophet that proselytize or whatever the word is about Republican values and voting for Trump. Sorry, I'll try to block that. Republican values and voting for Trump. And they do this from the pulpit, that it is God's will and this is being stolen by the devil and Satan and the left from Trump and God. And so that's why you see all these religious figures. Like I said, I'll get into that. There's other videos on the channel that cover that. If you like the channel, please subscribe, hit the bell, like the video. But I just want you to know, you see the symbolism right there.
Mounted a giant Christian cross. I believe that's the accurate way to phrase it. And they've mounted it to a base on the Capitol grounds in front of the Capitol building right there. These are people who are fighting for what they believe is being destroyed. Whether you like them or not, whether they're right or wrong, they are coming here to assert what they want. In one tweet from Julio Rosas,
just the way he talks about the left and BLM and everybody else is like they are the demon and they are the end of civilization. And these people are just like, oh well, I guess that's just how it goes. Like, I just can't, sorry, I'm struggling here. I can't understand how this works. Like, I can't understand how it's okay for these people to be doing this, but the outrage over BLM and those protests, it's just night and day.
He says, Capitol Police are using flashbangs to try to get the Trump crowd to disperse. This was before, of course, everyone actually started making their way into the building. Burgess Everett, on Twitter, he is a Politico co-congressional bureau chief, says, audio message plays in Capitol building, stay away from windows and doors, kind of unsettling. And in a tweet from Timothy Burke, we can see multiple officers are being carried away after being injured, my friends. I'm shocked. I am absolutely shocked going through this, and as I'm recording this, my concern is that there's so much more happening. By the time you watch this video is out of date. We will probably end up going live early over at youtube.com/timcastirl. I had been saying that I planned to go down to DC, but didn't know if, what we would end up being able to actually accomplish. I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, we probably won't be making it for obvious reasons, but more importantly, I mentioned earlier, there are COVID restrictions. That means we could show up and then I can't even get live and can't even get the show and cover what's going on and tell you what's...
So he's telling you why he's not going, but before he mentioned other people might be going. He didn't tell them not to go. He said they might be going, but he's saying he's not going.
Happening. Individuals, because of this, won't be able to get through security perimeters, nor because of the lockdowns in security and COVID, will they be able to even get to the building to do the show. It probably makes very little sense for us to get out of this point. But most importantly, the safety of the people who work with me is paramount. I'd be more than willing to risk my own safety and security, but we have several other people involved in the show, and I can't...
He's not once mentioned the safety of the people being attacked. But he's worried about his crew's safety. So he understands it may be an unsafe position. But he doesn't care about the people being attacked. It's almost like he's for this attack, right?
Tell them to come down and enter a dangerous situation like this. It just doesn't seem reasonable. It doesn't seem feasible. So I'm going to be watching nonstop. We're going to be tracking the news, and I am going to have the show probably early, live, youtube.com/timcastirl. But let's talk a little bit about this. I want to read you just some from the WRCB TV story. I wanted to get through as much as possible of what was happening, show you here, and then I want to talk about what Mike Pence has said and give you the official statement from Pence as to why this may have all started. WRCB TV says protesters have entered the Capitol, both chambers, and they've mounted on the steps. Okay, so I don't need to go through this. I think the title is the title. This is the big news from this morning, from this afternoon at 1 p.m. Initially, I was planning on doing a segment. I
don't need to go through the details of what's happening. Okay.
Thought I was going to be watching C-SPAN all day as they had their objections, and then Mike Pence says Biden's the winner, and that's my prediction. Isn't it amazing how wrong I've been? I was saying for a long time I thought the Democrats would win, and then changed, because I saw the polls that I think the Republicans are going to win Georgia. Wrong. Then I said it's going to be a boring approval and certification by Pence. Wrong. There it is. Wrong, wrong, wrong. I tell you, my friends, I'm wrong a lot. I am not pretending to be a psychic. I can read you.
That's some CYA. I'm wrong a lot, but these people might have more reinforcements coming, but I'm wrong a lot. Even though, I said, these people would be angry. But, this is just CYA, so he doesn't get himself in trouble.
The news, give you my opinions, but I'll tell you what I was right about. The escalation, and the people who are tired of this, whose lives have been destroyed by the lockdowns, the unconstitutional edict, taking away their right to worship. No surprise, they put up a cross in front of the Capitol building. Nothing, Trump, I believe there's nothing Trump could say to stop them at this point. It is more than Trump, it is beyond Trump. But this was the main story that I intended to cover.
That was his way of absolving Trump. So it's not Trump. Trump can't do anything. I can't do anything. It's just going to happen.
And let me just read. Pence says he doesn't have the power to reject electoral votes. Vice President Pence said on Wednesday he does not have this power, saying his role is largely ceremonial. In a letter to Congress released as Trump urged him in a speech to take steps to overturn the election, Pence said, "It is my considered judgment that my oath to support and defend the Constitution constrains me from claiming unilateral authority to determine which electoral votes should be counted and which should not." Well, that's the gist of the story, I suppose. They may have an update here. They do. Here we go. Trump's ongoing refusal to concede in the race, despite having lost both the popular and electoral vote, has animated much of his base. Despite Republicans' calls to dismiss millions of legal votes, Pence wrote that he would keep the oath he made to the American people by upholding the Constitution to the best of his ability. That, he said, included ensuring that all formal objections to the certification process were heard.
Wait. That if you look right behind the shield, that's the pink hat lady. That's the pink hat lady from outside the front. I think she's from PA. If you I can't point to the screen in any way, but I think that's the pink hat lady, right there in the coat. She's in the middle now. Okay, sorry. Back to Tim.
Upon hearing that, it was shortly after that Trump supporters breached the Capitol. I think there may be a reason why there's particular anger among Trump supporters in the Capitol right now. The Democrats are projected to be the winners of the race, the Senate runoff in Georgia, giving them a simple majority in the Senate. They'll have the House, the Senate, and the presidency. This allows them to pack the Supreme Court. Presumably, Joe Manchin may object and block them on some of these more radical proposals, but it does give them control. Mike Pence then came out and said he won't support the president, and thus you have very angry Trump supporters. Images have emerged showing the total vote count between Perdue and Ossoff in Georgia. That's the Perdue being the Republican, Ossoff being the Democrat. And just like we saw with Joe...
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think that's her. I think that's her right there. behind the right to the middle of the shield. Okay, sorry. I'll go back and we'll get back into this.
Were heard. Upon hearing that, it was shortly after that Trump supporters breached the Capitol. I think there may be a reason why there's particular anger among Trump supporters in the Capitol right now. The Democrats are projected to be the winners of the race, the Senate runoff in Georgia, giving them a simple majority in the Senate. They'll have the House, the Senate, and the presidency. This allows them to pack the Supreme Court. Presumably, Joe Manchin may object and block them on some of these more radical proposals, but it does give them control. Mike Pence then came out and said he won't support the president.
So he's justifying the anger and saying how bad the Democrats are going to be. Like, in the middle of this, that's what he's worried about.
And thus, you have very angry Trump supporters. Images have emerged showing the total vote count between Perdue and Ossoff in Georgia. That's the Perdue being the Republican, Ossoff being the Democrat. And just like we saw with Joe Biden, around late in the night, we saw that even though Perdue was winning with both lines going up, Ossoff just jumps straight up and then it moves forward like...
So we're not conspiracy theory here, but I am just saying that, like, the Georgia election was rigged too. There's no end with these people. There's no moral bottom. In the middle of an attack based on lies about the last election, he's lying about this election. Like, this is why we have to go back and look at these things. Because these people are soulless.
Normal. A strange, anomalous jump that people don't have an explanation for, giving giving Ossoff the victory. And because of things like that, people do not trust these elections. They do not trust the results, and they finally snapped.
No, it's because of people like you that don't trust it.
I've warned some time about the escalation, and you're familiar with that. There have been many things I've gotten wrong, and there have been many things I've gotten right. I have no problem saying that I'm not a psychic and I get things wrong.
CYA.
50-50, well then I guess I'm fine, right? But one thing I warned about was that what we saw with George Floyd and the riots across this country was undirected, unorganized, uncontrolled. People were angry. Now they say they were angry because of George Floyd, but many contended that a lot of the anger came from being locked up, having their jobs taken away.
Nobody in the world said that the George Floyd protests were about lockdowns. Nobody. Nobody. Not a single person in the entire world said that those protests were about lockdowns. But you see how he's got to normalize this because other people protest too, because this is just a protest. So other people do it too, and the left didn't care. The left let him get away with it, and it's the left's fault that this is happening. And the left steals elections. And the left is lockdowns. And these people don't like lockdowns. George Floyd was like 2 months in to COVID. It was the end of May. And COVID started in like mid to late February is when it started to really break out. Lockdowns didn't happen until like mid-March to April. In fact, I think April 1st was when Trump came out and said the CDC recommends masks, but like I'm not going to wear one. I think that was April 1st. And so a month and a half, 2 months later, everybody rioted because of lockdowns, not because another example of what Kaepernick was saying when he took a knee and you guys demonized him then. Like, this is mind-blowingly propaganda.
Becoming desperate and getting no support from Congress. That intensified the riots. But they were rioting against just the police, and generally just looting and burning in many places. Trump supporters may not be organized, but they're substantially more focused. When you look at the charts showing the breakdown of the Democrat and Republican Party, you can see Democrats are very spread out, meaning a wide range of leftist to moderate issues. The Republicans are much more centralized. When Republicans see these lockdowns will persist, with control going to Democrats, there will be years of lockdowns. That's what Bill Gates and Fauci have both said. Before anything goes normal, it'll be years. Ossoff, Joe Biden's advisor, said 6 weeks of a national lockdown and mask mandate. You have Trump supporters.
Meanwhile, we're a year in. We haven't had any of that. None of it. Do you think he ever said, hey, I was wrong? Or it's just like, I say a lot of crap and like some of it comes true. So like, that's good enough, right? That's basically what you said before. If I guess and I'm 50-50, like that's fine, right? So mass lockdowns, mass suppression, BLM riots, like everything but go home Trump supporters.
Whose jobs, whose businesses, everything have been stripped away and destroyed by the lockdowns. They blame the government and predominantly the Democrats. Their anger is similar to the lockdown anger we saw from the left, but much more focused and being directed explicitly at Congress and the joint session.
So this isn't about a stolen election like Trump said. This is about COVID lockdowns. What in the hell is he talking about? And people believe this. This isn't about the stolen election. This is anger. This is focused and organized anger about COVID. Not the organized rallies to storm the Capitol on January 6th over stop the steal. Not stop the lockdown, not stop the mask, stop the steal. They didn't say, no more lockdowns, no more lockdowns. They said, stop the steal, hang Mike Pence. This is why we have a division. Because you can't reason with crazy. You can't reason with crazy.
They have no idea what to expect from a recess in the joint session. I don't want to give any hard predictions because it would be absurd, but let me just say, part of me thinks the National Guard will come in. These people will be removed. There will be a return to the session of Congress, and then we will see Joe Biden certified. But I thought Mike Pence was going to do it, and I was wrong about that too. It could be that, as Majid Nawaz said, by tomorrow, Wisconsin...
He thought Mike Pence was going to do it? He thought Mike Pence was going to overturn the election? He was on board for that?
...votes to decertify. That would be insane. What would happen?
Oh my God!
What would happen
listen.
now after the Trump supporters breached the building? Tear gas fired. Members of Congress cracking open, tear stripped away and destroyed by the lockdowns. And they blame the government and predominantly the Democrats.
We're getting
their anger is
like I said in the beginning. They normally start out with normal and projection, and then they go through the process: the normalizing, the otherizing, the racializing, the victimizing of the listener, and then the propaganda. And this is where the propaganda really is. So like that whole beginning was like normal. Watch, we've already started to hear now the Senate race was fixed. This is about lockdowns. Like the propaganda really starts to kick in now.
Is similar to the lockdown anger we saw from the left, but much more focused and being directed explicitly at Congress in the joint session. I have no idea what to expect from a recess in the joint session. I don't want to give any hard predictions because it would be absurd, but let me just say, part of me thinks the National Guard will come in. These people will be removed. There will be a return to the session of Congress, and then we will see Joe Biden certified. But I thought Mike Pence was going to do it, and I was wrong about that too. It could be that, as Majid Nawaz said, by tomorrow, Wisconsin votes to decertify. That would be insane. What would happen? What would happen now after the Trump supporters breached the building? Tear gas fired. Members of Congress cracking open tear gas mask bags to mask up. What would happen if Trump actually does end up getting a constitutional victory only because of the Trump supporters? This is crazy. You know, I said the other day that what if so many Trump supporters show up, they can't have the joint session? What do we do? Who is president?
So I predicted like what happens if this happens, but I didn't predict it, but I did predict it, and now it's happening. But I never thought it would happen, but like it's happening. And like what happens if the election gets decertified tomorrow, and then that was all because Trump supporters stormed the Capitol, and so it was good that Trump supporters stormed the Capitol because that unlocked the fraud. So it was good that they did this. Like, what if it's actually good that they did this?
President, it would likely fall to Nancy Pelosi as Speaker of the House. That's what many people have predicted. Earlier this morning, I thought I was wrong. The Trump supporters aren't going to show up in large enough numbers nor take any action to shut this down. And I'm glad to say that this time I was actually right. I mean, I don't want to pretend like I'm all that smart. Or you
Wait,
know,
what? I was wrong, but I was right. But I was wrong, but I was... What?
Hey, that what if so many Trump supporters show up, they can't have the joint session? What do we do? Who is president? It would likely fall to Nancy Pelosi as Speaker of the House. That's what many people have predicted. Earlier this morning, I thought I was wrong. The Trump supporters aren't going to show up in large enough numbers nor take any action to shut this down. And I'm glad to say that this time I was actually right. I mean, I don't want to pretend like I'm all that smart or all the time. I'm just reading the news, same as most of you. But last night, I really did believe nothing would happen, and I said, but what if? And that what if came true. I'm worried. I won't.
So I said both things. I was wrong, but then I was right because I said both things. And now both things, but like I'm not always right, but like both things. Tim, what in the fuck are you talking about? And people think this guy is a resource of facts, and that you can't trust what you're seeing you can't trust what you're seeing in this video. You have to believe what you're seeing in this video. Not this video, this video. Like, don't believe this, only believe this.
Lie. In the past year, I've bought many guns. Right now on Twitter, leftists are saying they're going to be buying weapons and training because the Trump people are going crazy. I'm not concerned about any one political faction in terms of my personal safety. I'm concerned about my personal safety in general. Of course, I obviously have more concerns about the left, Antifa, than I do about Trump supporters. You see, they focus on the Capitol building, on politics. The left was focused on businesses. My bigger question, though, is...
I'm more worried about the people that protested in the street and burned some businesses than the people tearing down the government. That's classic otherization, normalization, propaganda, victimization. It's all the tools of fascism. It's really, I mean, this is scary stuff. To have somebody promoting conspiracies, making these people the victim that are attacking the Capitol, and making the people that stood up for social inequality, against social inequality, and burned some businesses are way more detrimental to America than tearing down the government, is what he just said.
Leftists were making jokes about guillotines for the elites and the ruling class.
Who?
Were they serious? Or are they now going to oppose?
What leftists were making these random guillotine elite comments? Leftists. The others. The other people were talking about killing people. Did they really mean it? The other people were doing that.
Trump supporters who are storming the Capitol building. Isn't this what Antifa wanted? This is what worries me. What happens if it is, and they go in, and then it breaks this country? What happens if we actually are entering some kind of civil war? Is it all that crazy now? To all the people who said it was silly and absurd to talk about getting emergency food supplies. I'm not even talking about serious prepping.
The guy sells food supplies, by the way.
I was just saying, look, sometimes it rains. You know,
he sells food supplies.
You know, the road's closed, so you have some food, just in case. Maybe you don't need it, but, you know, it lasts for 25 years. And they mocked me. They said, where's the Civil War, Tim? Where's the chaos? Where's the conflict? This could all end. And I said that before, remember? Remember when I said this? Maybe the escalation ends here. Maybe it all just goes back to normal, everyone smiles, and Joe Biden becomes president. But I don't think so, right? Now I'm sitting here in my room, rather freaked out.
I don't think so. I've got to keep this lie up, because if I tell the truth, now they're going to come after me because all their friends got arrested because of my propaganda. So we've got to keep the propaganda up because I can't have like them after me. So I got to keep pumping them up full of bullshit.
That we just saw Trump supporters shatter the windows of the Capitol building, breach the building, and then the police fired tear gas in the rotunda as they're making their way to the main chamber. I don't know where it's all going on right now as I record this video. Well, my friends, stay safe, stay vigilant, and I'll stress it one more time. YouTube.com/TimCastIRL live. We'll be live very, very shortly after the publication of this video. I just don't know. Maybe it ends here. Maybe by the time I'm done recording, I go back to Twitter and they're like, the Trump supporters have been cleared out, the National Guard has regained control, Joe Biden is president. I believe if that's the case, there will be a crackdown on the internet. There will be a termination of websites like Parler. It will be swift and fierce. My friends, you need to understand that breaching the Capitol is not like someone smashing the window from of a Louis Vuitton and stealing a bag. We are talking about one of the most secure buildings in our country, one of the most important, being breached by American citizens, for better or for worse. The crackdown, I believe, if this gambit fails, will be severe. We will hear from Joe Biden that those...
The crackdown on me will be severe if this isn't successful. The left will come after us if this isn't successful. He is demonizing the left and praising these people. Stay vigilant.
Who supported Trump, there's going to be truth and reconciliation commissions. They're going to come after a lot of people. I think they'll go after websites like Parler, the DNS will shut them down, and the Great Reset is underway. I don't know what's to come next. I'm not psychic. Stay safe. Get ready. Something's happening. Thanks for hanging out. YouTube.com/TimCastIRL, and I will see you later tonight live.
Oh, well, that's just despicable. So I think it's important to do this because you need to see what is going on. You need to see what is filling the heads of these hate-filled people that all they do is follow the script because they've been trained to follow the script. The border, Antifa, but BLM, Biden sucks, let's go Brandon, build a wall, lock them up. They've just been programmed. And they don't even know, they're not the sheep, but they're the ones repeating the slogans and being led to attack the Capitol and being told, don't trust the left, don't trust the media, don't trust big tech, don't trust the CIA, don't trust the FBI, which I don't trust the CIA or the FBI. But they're being told you can't trust anybody but the sound of the voice you hear right now. And so when you don't understand they're crazy and you laugh at it, they're like all Manchurian candidates. All they have to do is release them on people. So we need to be aware of what it is that they say and what it is that they do and how they do it. And the best way to stop it in the present is for me to help break down what went on in the past so that we can identify it as it goes on currently. I appreciate you guys sticking around. I know this was a long one. I hope you enjoyed it. This video of the Capitol attack is just nuts. We'll do a few more of these, and I appreciate you guys. Like I said, please subscribe to the channel, share this out, and we've got to get this information out there and get these people out of government. And we only have a year, less than a year now. All right, let's get to it.